I always think it's funny when I see media stories that claim that certain medicines or lifestyle choices or particular foods can decrease your risk of death. Nuts, going for short runs, increasing your intake of fruit and veg, somehow, apparently, they can all magically reduce your risk of dying one day. Look, I'm pretty sure you can't reduce the risk of dying because at the end of the day, we're all going to go. But this issue of safety and risk are really important when you work in medical communications because safety is always relative. Safety depends on the context and the dose of the medicine being used. I mean, no medicines or vaccines are absolutely safe because all medicines have some kind of side effects. Even paracetamol, sold widely in supermarkets, is still only relatively safe. Yes, it's safe if used within the recommended doses, but if you take a dose which constitutes an overdose, then the risks of serious harm are very high. So we tend to say that medicines are relatively safe, or even better, we might refer to the fact that a particular medicine has a positive safety profile. So what a challenging environment we have now for the vaccine rollout, now that we're seeing public reports of side effects and blood clots in high profile media outlets. And all of a sudden it's like the rule book on the way you can refer to safety is being thrown out the window because we see public announcements about medicines and vaccines being absolutely safe, very safe. The whole terminology is highly problematic.
Safe for over 50.
It's safe, or otherwise very safe and effective.
And above all else, safety, safety, safety.
And I feel safer for it.
Definitely safe.
And very safe for most people.
So I'm not seeking to criticise anybody in these processes. This is a very challenging environment in a situation where people have such limited understandings of relative risk and how it affects them. People tend to think about absolute risk, they think about and focus on absolute side effects. So no criticism, but I think a broader educational campaign which seeks to put relative risk into context, educate the community about that, and then try and explain the personal implications of that to people really would be timely right now. And the reason I say that is that the notion of relative risk is just so important in public health. It informs our policy decisions, it informs legislation, it informs the kind of decisions that health authorities make about risks and benefits of certain interventions. So relative risk is something around which a lot of community education could do a heck of a lot of good. So overall, we need education to help people get a real grip on what the real risks are in relation to the vaccine rollout, because the benefits are enormous and the risks are honestly minuscule. I do concede, however, that this challenge is made even more difficult by the fact that mainstream media will tend to focus on those elements of the vaccine rollout which are more dramatic, more negative, because that sells newspapers and it captures eyeballs. It's about keeping the way media reports these issues in context as well and making sure that people understand the kind of agenda that mainstream news outlets have in reporting what's happening with the vaccine rollout. But overall, I think there is one thing that we can all agree on, and that is that despite recent advancements in medicine, in medical technology, in vaccines and disease prevention, that is that you cannot reduce the lifetime risk of death. That, dear friends, is just basic biology. So I suppose there's one thing that we can all agree on when it comes to relative risk.